good afternoon, everybody. Coming to you live on the LFC transfer room from a very, very cold English weekend. Maybe nothing to some of our international followers, but in the UK it's been -3 as late as about 10 o'clock this morning. It's due to be about -4, -5 tonight. It is freezing cold. We've got a cost of living and an energy crisis. So the heaters tend to be staying off. And I don't know if you can see it on camera, but you can see your breath inside in the comfort or discomfort of your own home. That's what we are looking at here. And just to make it all better, just to top it off, we have some lovely injury news coming out of Liverpool. If you've been around on social media, on news sites, you would have seen it breaking yesterday evening and also this morning. Luis Diaz, the man who has been out since October, one of the few bright sparks from a below average start to our league campaign in general. Somebody who came in last January and helped push us onto being so close to that potential quadruple, etc. Helped us over the line in several games, freshened up our attack in the later half of the season. This year, after that, again, being a bright spark for us, picked up an injury in October that ruled him out for several months. The World Cup came at a good time as well. No league games, no games for Liverpool at all. Allowed him to get back fit. He was in Dubai doing his thing with the team in the sort of, I wouldn't say pre-season, but the mid-season kind of warm-up, getting back into shape for that. Of course, Colombia weren't at the World. He wasn't at the World Cup anyway. And yeah, things were looking good. Fabinho and Alisson were knocked out of the World Cup. Virgil van Dijk's been knocked out of the World Cup. So they've got a couple of days off, and then they can get back with the squad as well. Our first game for Liverpool isn't until the 22nd. So almost a couple of weeks to have a little bit of time off, get back into the swing of things, get back with their teammates, and be ready to go. Quarterfinals on today, Morocco versus Portugal, and then England versus France later on. Of course, let me know if you're watching that and where from, etc., etc. Good to hear from everybody. So you thought, well, this is fine. We've got football on almost every day. Liverpool are doing their thing in the background. Nothing can go wrong. Well, ha. Luis Diaz has picked up a new knee ligament injury on Saturday and could be sidelined until March, needing surgery. That is, you heard me correct, needing surgery on a new knee ligament injury. That is where we stand, and he could be out until March. Elias, good to see you. Yes, I know, I talked about it on the chat room on Friday night, I think. Can't remember. But yeah, check out the most recent chat room episode, and just watch the first 5 minutes of that. I kind of explained everything. Christian King, good to see you as well. Good to see some more returning friendly faces, etc. But what are your thoughts on this, apart from anger, frustration? I guess kind of apathy is where I'm coming from, because can you really be that surprised at this point? Can you, every time we get a new injury, can you be like, oh my God, I can't believe it. This is ridiculous. Like maybe a couple of months ago, that when it was kind of in its height. But now, every new injury, every new player that's a doubt, it just doesn't faze me. And that's bad. That's not a good coping mechanism. It indicates a bad state of affairs for your club in this moment. So we just run through the news in a little bit more detail. The 25-year-old left the Reds Dubai camp on Friday, having already been out since the start of October with another knee injury. The new setback, with the winger complaining of discomfort this week in training sessions, appears to be unrelated to the previous injury, but is another collateral ligament issue. Diaz's previous knee injury, believed to have been an MCL, medial collateral ligament injury, did not require surgery, but now it looks like that will be the case for this new one, the lateral collateral ligament. Pipe Sierra, the first person to report the news of the surgery, also states that Liverpool expect Diaz to return in March, and such a time frame would mean he would have missed 5 months of the season by that stage. Between now and February, there are 10 Premier League games. 10 Premier League games that he is incredibly likely to miss out on, not even taking into account, the Carabao Cup, which I guess not many people are too fussed about anyway. The FA Cup, when that starts up, the first couple of knockout rounds of the Champions League as well, he's likely, very, very likely to miss. There we have it. It's not good, and I'm keen to hear what people have to say. Elias says we have to buy a winger in January. We need it anyway. Well, we know we need a midfielder, and that's where all the talk has been. But now, with that injury, I mean, you're right. We can't go the rest of the season depending on Mo Salah again. Like that's what we've had to deal with, and I don't. Maybe he can prove us wrong, and it'll be a bit of a revelation there. But I don't really like the idea of Darwin Núñez being exclusively a winger. I don't think that that's a long-term solution either. Diogo Jota, still not 100% sure when he's meant to be back. I don't think. And of course, yeah, talking of Champions League football, the news likely rules that number 23 out of the Champions League tie against Real Madrid, although the second leg of that is mid-March. There could be an outside chance for return, but unlikely. So we're having to rely on kids again. Fabio Carvalho, he'll be playing more football, probably out on the wing. We could see Harvey Elliott playing on the right as well. Of course, Mo Salah, but Luis Diaz out, Firmino injury prone, Mo Salah, he's looked better this year, but still trying to get the best out of him compared to previous years. And Diogo Jota as well. I'm not even really sure what's happening with Jota. Is he back? I don't know. But the options are slim. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, are we going to play him out wide? Could he fill that role? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, let's just go through. When you say winger, do you mean midfielder or right, left, forward? Yeah, someone who can play on the left or the right. Because we tend to still kind of have that general formation. Gakpo could get bought from PSV, and Pep Linders likes him. But I think he's impressed as well, isn't he? I mean, no signing like that is going to come in January. I think that's more alarming. Like, you can't resolve, every time you get an injury, you can't resolve it by buying new players. It's just not the way the world works. But with the extent of our injuries and how regular certain players are getting injured and new players getting injured consistently, it indicates that we do have to try and refresh somehow in January. But Cody Gakpo, is he somebody we could realistically pry away in January? 23 years old, PSV Academy graduate. I mean, I know that they'd probably like the money, but there's not enough. There's not enough there, and we've got Klopp as manager. Klopp doesn't like to do these types of transfers because he wants to bed these players in. He doesn't want to buy Gakpo and chuck him straight in the deep end. I know that's kind of what happened with Luis Diaz, but maybe he was. He's such an outlet. So we do find ourselves in a worrying position. Let me just find all the players that are still injured. So, last updated November the 11th. So, Luis Diaz has picked up that injury again. So Diogo Jota taken off on a stretcher in the closing stages of Liverpool's 1-0 victory over Man City is facing a prolonged spell on the sidelines. He'll miss the World Cup. Pretty serious injury in the calf. We can say that because he will not be in for a long time. We talk about months. A deep rehab. Naby Keita, I think he picked up another one after this. I don't know where he is on that. Joel Matip, another sketchy one. Arthur's pretty much done for the year. And James Milner's back in training anyway. But it leaves us so weak coming back. So weak. Konate could well play the full World Cup. Gomez, we know what he is. Virgil, got to treat him with cotton wool. I mean, does he play in the Carabao Cup fourth round? I think that's an important question because that's not guaranteed. That's not guaranteed at all. Fabinho, not at his best. Thiago Alcantara, he'll play 2 or 3 games, remind us how brilliant he is, and then disappear again. Elias says, what else should we do? Play Klopp on the wing. We have to buy, and PSV have said that they are open to sell. They're looking to sell for around £40 million. Well, let's have a little look, shall we? Let's have a look at Cody Gakpo. Not transfer market, just transfer, please. Make sure to like the video and subscribe and share it about as well if you can. Get as many people interested and watching as we can. It's going to be a fairly short. It's not going to be a normal, half an hour, 40-minute stream today, but just a bit of an update. We will have a stream tomorrow with the guys, so it's not just me. So don't worry, don't freak out. I mean, Man United probably consider themselves favourites. I mean, that's all that's coming up for me. We would have to sneak in through the back door, but do you trust us to do that? Do you think that we would bother doing that? PSV are willing to cash in on the attacker to maximise his value following his 3 goals in Qatar. Fair enough, yeah, so they probably are ready to sell him now. United were interested in the 23-year-old in the summer, but backed out of a potential deal after signing Anthony from Ajax. The Red Devils want attacking reinforcements following Ronaldo's exit, and Gakpo is keen on the move. Well, that's a problem, isn't it? The Dutchman who lined up against the USA wants to be used as a striker despite being played as a winger and a number 10 for his club and country. I mean, I guess that suits United more than us, doesn't it? If he wants to be used as a striker, that doesn't really help our problem, does it? Because Salah can play in the middle very well. Firmino plays there. And Darwin Núñez, at the minute, I'd say his strongest position is in the middle. So if that's part of any negotiation that we have to guarantee playing time in certain positions, I don't see that happening. Both clubs are yet to enter talk, but with the United boss Erik ten Hag and Gakpo sharing the same agents, they share the same agents as well. I mean, this is all, I'm literally learning this on the fly. PSV wants at least £50 million for their academy graduate, who has already hit 12 goals and 14 assists in all competitions this season. If we came in, we would get him because we could offer him game time while United have Rashford and Sancho. Yeah. But that's what I mean, though. He wants to play as a striker, and Rashford definitely isn't a number 9. And Sancho is a winger as well. So he probably, regardless of his attributes and where we think he'd be best and can he play out wide, it seems like, if this is to be believed, he wants to be in the middle. He wants to be the main man up front. And I think that there's more of a space for that with a striker. I think he's indicated that. He's indicated he wants to be used as a striker. I don't have exact quotes, but we only know stuff. We only think we know stuff, don't we? So you've heard something different from a different article. I've I'm reading this as we speak. Thank you to people who are just joining, by the way. The news, of course, Luis Diaz is undergoing surgery for a new knee ligament injury sustained on Saturday in training, and he could be sidelined until March. What are your thoughts on it? Because I'm beyond the point of anger or being upset or being enraged. I just feel apathetic about it. And by apathetic, I just mean who's surprised? Who is surprised by it all? Adam, good to see you. We've just had a break in general. If you want to know more about that, the chat room episode that we did it wasn't yesterday, was it? When was it? Thursday? Thursday night I did a chat room. First few minutes of that I kind of talk about it. So remember, go and check that out if you want to know the more details about it. We've been linked with the wonder kid from Ukraine, Mudryk. I think he's more favoured to go to Arsenal though. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm just shooting down everything you say, Elias. But you search up Mudryk, and the first thing you see is a picture of him with an Arsenal badge next to him, and most of the news articles as well. Shakhtar Donetsk send fresh transfer warning to Arsenal. Arsenal could postpone plans. Could postpone plans to sign Mudryk. There we go. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe we could. Whoa. Bear with me a minute, folks. Just bear with me. That's the door gone. I'm not going to answer it because we don't do that. We don't leave a stream. I remember Adam said, I remember Louis asking how many midfielders we should sign, and I said another forward about 2 months ago. Well, you've called it. I mean, it's a bad state of affairs. The more this season has gone on, the more blatantly obvious it has become that we need new signings. And some of us, myself included, maybe a little bit blind to that, maybe a little bit too reliant on our faith in Klopp. But ultimately, it's a team game. You have to have the options there. You have to assess your squad. And it's, it has been, to a degree, a failure on this. The amount of injuries sustained, the players still in that squad who we know are terrible with injuries. I mean, I'm just looking at our midfield. It's Fabinho, Thiago, James Milner, Keita, Henderson, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Jones, Elliott, Melo. I mean, almost all of them have had like career-altering injuries almost. Like Harvey Elliott, the one he sustained last year. Curtis Jones has been in and out for a few days, for a few months. Arthur Melo has suffered like 2 since he's been here. Oxlade-Chamberlain, of course. Milner's just like, he's 40 nearly. Henderson is not afraid to getting a few injuries throughout the season, and Thiago as well, and Keita. So pretty much every single midfielder is prone to injuries. Every single one is prone to picking up a couple. Forwards, slightly less concerning, but Luis Diaz, maybe not injuries in the Portuguese league, but now he's been here, it's gotten worse. Thank you to people who are joining. Please do like the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. I think we need about 5 minimum new players, and that's not going to all come at once, is it? Which is what we need. Maybe we get 1 or 2 in January, but there's just not enough noise around any of it. I don't know. Maybe we pull something out of the bag, but 1 midfielder and 1 attacker in January, says Elias. Napoli want 80 million for Kvaratskhelia. Chat, if we were to sign anyone, who would you sign? Excuse me, who would you sign, says Adam. And Suresh, thank you very much for getting involved, says we need to go for Moussa Diaby. He can play right and left wing. So what do you guys think of Moussa Diaby? Is he not a replacement, but a suitable candidate to help fill the gaps? Adam says we'll have to spend 80 million for Kvaratskhelia then. We can't keep going for players that need development. I know Kvira needs work still, but to be a top club, you need top players. City's been doing it for years, and I feel like we're already behind. I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but we should use Thiago more as a luxury player. I think I get what you're saying, but it's like he's going to get injured anyway. So when he's fit, you've just got to use him. Like it's what happened with those with both of our finals last year. Like he was in the starting 11 for the Carabao Cup, and he gets injured in the warm up, and that's it. Like what's the point? What's the point of saving him if he can just pick up tweaks like that? I think luxury players are kind of myths. Like I think they really exist. At least today, like players that you only bring on for I mean, what would constitute a luxury game for Thiago? I don't quite get it. Diaby is a player that we've been linked with, and we could get him for 40-50 million pounds in January. So the shouts I've seen so far are Gakpo, Diaby, Kvaratskhelia. I hope I'm saying that right. And fucking what's his name, Mudryk. But Mudryk for me looks like he's almost certain to move to Arsenal if he does go anywhere this year. Linked FC, says Adam. Just a bit of channel news. We will have a stream tomorrow. Maybe a transfer central, not 100% sure, but it will be a group stream, so a few familiar faces popping back up again after a few months off, which will be nice. So yeah, do stick around for that. That will be 7:30. This one just needs to get it out into the ether, because otherwise it wouldn't be breaking news if we started talking about it this evening. It would have been out for like a whole day. And then a bit more beyond that, we'll start streaming a little bit less regularly. Well, more consistently, but less regularly, if that makes sense. You'll see what I mean. We've got a schedule coming out that we can put out each week just to show you guys when we're on, so you know when to expect us and when you can make other plans without a care in the world of missing an LFC transfer room stream. We could speak forever about who we want to sign, says Adam. Linked FC. In my opinion, Gakpo and Nunes are similar players. Well, I think it was just before you joined, but it seems like from Gakpo's camp, wherever he goes, he wants to be the centre forward of the team. He wants to be the big man. Down the middle. He doesn't want to be out wide. He doesn't want to be the number 10. And I feel like with strong interest from Man United, it's just more fitting for him to go there. I can't see him coming to us because we've got Nunes, we've got Firmino, Salah can play in the middle. It wouldn't make sense, and it doesn't help us in terms of wide players at all, because we're not freeing up somebody else to play there, because we don't want Nunes there, and we certainly don't want Firmino there, do we? Liverpool could probably convince Gakpo to sign, yeah, but with that in mind, do you want him? Does that fit? We have to have a nailed-on signing for January at least, says Adam. I agree, and we're currently the 10th of December. 10th of December, what do we do? According to Record Portugal, Liverpool have already made contact with Benfica star Enzo Fernandez about a move for the Portuguese club, very much expecting a sale in the coming months. I mean, could he play out wide? Could he be like kind of a wide playmaker? I don't know. We could play a 4-4-2, Nunes and a more technical player like Gakpo, potentially, but is Gakpo the player worth changing your system for? Don't forget Jota too, says Adam. Yeah, of course. I think he's out. I think he's still out for a fair little while, to be honest with you, though. We need a minimum of 2 players in January, a winger especially with how Diaz is out, and a midfielder. I like the Amrabat news. This is someone we need, and glad we're looking in the right area. So just to recap once again, Luis Diaz to undergo knee surgery and out until March. He's picked up a new knee ligament injury on Saturday in training in Dubai after just coming back from an injury that's kept him out since October, and is now due to miss the next 10 Premier League games. The first leg of the round of 16 Champions League tie against Real Madrid, the Carabao Cup, FA Cup. So plenty of games he is likely to miss whilst he is recovering from surgery. Ant Dicko says, just watch Morton for Blackburn. Didn't impress me, taking too much time on the ball. Well, he's not going to be the answer to any questions now, is he? Maybe in the future. Who knows? But I think if you speak to Blackburn supporters, I think in general they quite like him. He's a likable kid, obviously, but a good player and a solid. I think he's just a solid midfielder, a solid holder of the ball. And at the minute, that's all I see him as. So not an answer to any of our problems, except for maybe just purely having numbers in the midfield. Enzo Fernandez is similar to De Jong, good at linking play. I feel we need a Fabinho replacement. Well, that is something that we do need. In terms of midfielders, I know we talk about Bellingham, who would be a more attack-minded midfielder, but we 100% need somebody who can genuinely compete week in, week out with Fabinho. We've seen it with Robertson and Tsimikas. It's not a problem that he's going for a bad patch, except for the part where he supports a fascist dictator in his home country, and his missus actively tweets about it on Twitter, and we don't really like that on this channel or in Liverpool in general. But ignoring all that, we saw it with Robertson and Tsimikas. I don't think Tsimikas, when he got that longer spell, I don't think he impressed. But what the benefits of him playing was that when Robertson came back, he started to look a lot better, and he's been one of the more consistent players at the back end of this first half of the season. So if we do the same with Fabinho, buy a competent backup or somebody who could genuinely challenge him, although of course money depending on that. And Enzo Fernandez looks like, I don't think he could play that role necessarily, but if we get another midfielder, we could then, even if the midfield option doesn't work out, we could then start to see the best of Fabinho again once he's put under a bit of pressure, because essentially when he's fit, he plays. I know Klopp tried to play Henderson there a couple of times when things were really bad, just to kind of shake things up, but you can't trust Henderson to play a defensive midfield role for long stretches. The odd game where the opponent's more suited to Henderson, yes, but over long stretches you will see him make mistakes. You'll see how inactive he is in terms of reading the game, reading defensive position wise, and you'll see just how reactive he is and how behind play he gets. It's all good being able to run around lots and point and shout at people, but when you're reacting to something that's already happened as a DM, that probably means they've got beyond you and they're now causing problems for the back line, or worse than that, they're in on goal. So Henderson is not an option. So essentially when Fabinho's fit, he is the sole CDM in our squad. And that's not helped when we try to play a double pivot either, because that's one less player available. Adam says maybe Tsimikas as an alternative wing option. I mean, I kind of always thought that about like Moreno, because I remember Klopp saying in an interview once, in training, Alberto Moreno is our best finisher. So I was like, young naive me was like, well, just play him as a winger then. Like, just let him do that. He's got good pace and he's a good finisher. Like, that makes total sense. But I don't think it's as easy as that in the elite levels of football. I don't think you can just do that. And maybe he could be fine. Maybe he could do a job. But when we're talking about the elite levels of football, we're talking about trying to go and win as much as possible. It's, it would be a unfair, I think is maybe the word. Ben Peake, good to see you, says reports out that Endo Fernandez has a pre-agreement with Liverpool. Looks strong to share positive news, hopefully. I think we may have Ben Doak start playing games for us with these injuries in attack. I forgot about him. And that is somebody that has got a lot of people around the club and outside of it in the fan base very, very excited indeed. So it is likely. It is likely we'll see a little bit more of him, especially in that FA Cup third round, whenever that's... I know we're against Wolves, aren't we, in the FA Cup third round. So we could see him there along with a few more of those youngsters as well. But realistically, I mean, Matty on our channel, he said, oh, he's fantastic. We're going to see a lot of him. But realistically, he is, 16, 17 years old. Even if he is ready, it's unfair. It's unfair to rely on him and to throw him into the deep end of Premier League, Champions League football, or whatever else. Rabiot is on his last 6 months to a good box-to-box. I mean, maybe you guys have got different thoughts on Rabiot, but I don't like him. I don't like him. Apart from his ability, I don't like him. If we're signing Fernandes and Bellingham, surely we either have new owners or money being pumped in. Well, yeah, one or the other. Elliot could play left wing. Yes. I don't like it, though. I don't like it. Hence why I said Amrabat's a realistic signing. And Adam says we wouldn't want to burn him out. I mean, he's only 16. Exactly. That's kind of the point I'm making. Look, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there for today. I don't want to get too excited, come back to streaming, and then start overdoing it, overstaying my welcome again. So we'll wrap it up for today. The big breaking news, Luis Diaz to undergo knee surgery and is probably out again until March. We will be live tomorrow evening at 7:30 with a few of the lads having a chat. I won't be on it, but do stick around. So 7:30. Please do like this video. Please share the video as well if you're on any social medias, and consider becoming a member as well. The link for that is in the video description. It helps support our content creation. You get exclusive stickers to use in the live chat to show your support, and you get a nice badge next to your name as well. Like if you've seen Jen or Charlie or me in the live chat, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But other than that, thank you very much for keeping me company, keeping me warm on this freezing cold Saturday afternoon, and it's only going to get worse. But now we can all go and enjoy the World Cup, can't we? With Morocco versus Portugal at 3 and England versus France at 7. Who do I want to win? I'm not telling you. But please do keep warm, and please do stick around for future videos as well, including tomorrow at 7:30. I have been Louis Fell. This has been some breaking news regarding Luis Diaz being out until March with another knee injury. Gary Richards, you've just missed me. I'm so sorry, mate. Please go back to the start and watch it again. I'm very, very sorry. But we will be live tomorrow. We're live tomorrow at 7:30. Take care, everybody, and have a lovely rest of your day.